Well, I'm heartbroken, shattered, and quite possibly devastated. As some of you may have heard, as of March 6th, Warner Bros. Is pulling a very Warner Bros. Move and shutting down Rooster Teeth and looking to sell some of its IPs. And among those IPs are the Roost Podcast Network, Red vs. Blue, and RWBY, which, as you can tell in my almost completely undecorated room, I've been a fan of since I was like 13 years old. By the way, this echo you're hearing is genuinely awful audio is because of this. I'm moving my crap in this room and it makes it look like a freaking old porno set, and I guarantee you my neighbors think I do fans. They are OnlyFans now. But before we get to my unimportant woes, I wanted to highlight something. Warner Bros. Fired 150 people. 150 people that made content that tons of people wanted to see continue and grow. And it was content that practically inspired a whole generation of new content creators, writers, and animators. They made a mark on the internet that very few have made before. Now, I'll be honest, I didn't watch much of the regular videos. I mostly just kept up with their animations in Red vs. Blue. But I know for a fact, things like Achievement Hunter, Always Open, and their animated adventures inspired tons of people to pursue things like that. And Warner Bros. Decided to axe that, which seems to be a very common move by Warner Bros. Lately, with them sending Coyote vs. Acme to oblivion and brutalizing Batgirl for no apparent reason. There are tornado sirens going on outside my house. I genuinely do hope the amazing writers, voice actors, musicians, and animators find more work, because they really deserve it after everything they've created for us. And now to my unimportant woes. RWBY, Red vs. Blue, Camp Camp, and Nomad of Nowhere have been such an important part in my life, and RWBY to an almost unreal amount. It literally defined my music taste with Red Like Roses, Part 2, Time to Say Goodbye, Mirror Mirror, and Path to Isolation. You could play the first 2 seconds of Red Like Roses, and I would already be breaking out into a dance and song routine. And this still stands today. Red Like Roses is still my favorite song, with Casey Lee Williams and Jeff Williams being my favorite musicians. And this stands even of last year. Checkmate was my top listened to song, and Jeff and Casey Lee Williams were my second and third most listened to artists. It has also had the side effect of defining my wardrobe over the years. And to be completely honest, it has helped me grow to be a far better person in many different ways, to the point of I don't even know who I would be without this silly little web series. You could probably ask anyone around me and they would be able to tell you how much I love this show. I practically preach how much I love it, down to its writing, which inspired my love for fairy tale-esque stories, and the font I use on this channel, and the name of my podcast, Fae Chatter. And to the character and grim designs being some of my favorite designs in literally anything. And that's not even mentioning the weapon designs. Crescent Rose is probably my favorite weapon in just about anything, and I will one of these days get a life-size one to hang on the back of my wall. And of course the animation, I will die on the hill that RWBY has some of the best animation there is. I mean, there's just so much uniqueness and charm to it that I love it. Even the old seasons are just perfect classics to me that show me how amazing Monty and his team were at animating. I still go back at least every month to watch the Nevermore fight, because it just encapsulates everything I love about RWBY. And it was also the scene that captured and roped me into RWBY like very few scenes have ever done in anything, including games, books, or shows. And the music, as I just lauded about a minute ago, is beyond fantastic, that it made rock my favorite genre of music. I meant it when I said it defined my music taste. I'll still be singing its praise though, and hoping that Kerry and his team can find a new home for RWBY, because I genuinely don't think anyone else can do it justice other than them. It needs to be manned by them. And just like RWBY, there's Red vs. Blue, which was my gateway into RWBY, and I know for a fact it has made an insane mark on the internet. It was a literal bundle of everything great about the gaming community and internet as a whole made into the perfect web series. It was just a whole bunch of friends making timeless videos. Red vs. Blue is still one of my favorite comedies, and it probably helped influence me to want to become a YouTuber, seeing as my end goal for this channel is a group of friends making videos together. And the communities to these were fun. But I won't lie, they were often an absolute hellhole depending on what side of it you were on. But they were amazing a lot of the time with the theorizing, dissecting songs, talking about our favorite characters, and deciding if a certain heiress would get a regular gift or a dirty bomb in the mail. And of course there's the art part of it. They were hands down my favorite fandoms I've been in. Now I know this is an odd video that doesn't quite fit well with everything on this channel, but I wanted to make it purely because of how important Rooster Teeth was to me. It had its ups and downs, but it is something I'll always remember fondly forever. And one of these days, you can mark my word, you can quote me on it, I will make a massive video on RWBY. But I want it to be my magnum opus. I want it to be the video I point to and say, I love this video. And until then, I'm still going to hope that RWBY gets sold and Crewbie are still the ones manning the ship. And I'll also be hoping that the people that got laid off find something else to make great again. So go show your support to the amazingly talented people that inspired so many others. And I guess it is time to say goodbye to an era.
Justice will be swift!